I know that we can.
I know darn well we can work it out. Oh, yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we if we want to? Yes, we can.
I know we can make it work.
Thank you for joining Yes We Can with Pastor Sherman D.Manning. It's another great show. Listen, it is not every day that you get to interview a president on your show. Last week, I had the honor of having a former president. Dr. L.A. Kazee was one of our guests on last week. And today, I have the president of the Baptist Ministers Conference. And as our good friend Dr. Donald Robinson would say, this is the best ministers conference in the country, ladies and gentlemen. I have the proud president, my president, who also happens to be the pastor of Weller Street Baptist Church. He's also the former president of the National Action Network here in Los Angeles under the tutelage of Dr. Al Sharpton. So Pastor K.W.Tulloss is my guest today. Pastor Tulloss, glad to have you.
I'm so happy to be with you, Dr. Manning. It's so good to be here with you today. How's everything?
Everything's going well. I've already talked a little bit about you were the president of the National Action Network here in Los Angeles and your current president of the Baptist Ministers Conference and pastor of Weller Street Baptist Church. I know a lot about you, but for the audience who might not know you, tell me who you are.
Well, Pastor, I'm a product of Los Angeles, born and raised here in the great city of Los Angeles, product of local schools, 93rd Street School, Locke High School, Cal State, Dominguez, Southwest College. I'm so happy, been in ministry now for 25 plus years, man.
Wow.
Pastoring the Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church this week. We will be celebrating 25 years of ministry, 15 years of pastoring, and 45 years of living. So
Wow.
I'm a product of the neighborhood, man, and it's one thing about it is I love my community, I love the city, and I love everything that we do as clergy within our city.
Yes. Yeah, 45. You're 3 years younger than me, by the way. I was talking with someone the other day, and he said to me that Dr. Tulloss was born to be president of the BMC. Tell us a little bit about, well, let's start with the National Action Network. What kind of work did you do there? Tell me a little bit about your political activism.
Well, I met Reverend Sharpton, I guess, about 18 years ago. Mm-hmm. And from that, I started work with the National Action Network. I was the president of the Los Angeles chapter. I then later became the Western Regional Director, and I led that organization for about 10 years. Wow. And the beautiful thing about that is Reverend Sharpton, he really, really put a lot of emphasis on young, youthful leadership, and he really literally took me up under his wings.
Right.
And I resigned from then in 2018 when I became president
right.
of the Baptist Ministers Conference. So National Action Network is an organization, again, a civil rights organization that's very close to my heart. It's basically fighting for the civil and social justice work of all. As a young man, I started my political activism right here in LA, mm-hmm. marching with the likes of great pastors and leaders such as Dr. Charles Mims, my mentor and my pastor at the time, Dr. L.C. Carter,
wow.
walking and marching for hope and just a better way of living in Los Angeles.
Right.
And so, like I said, I'm born and raised here in Los Angeles. So my activism started as a young man at the NAACP, and I've taken that to lead one of the greatest civil rights organization there is, National Action Network on the West Coast, now president of the Baptist Ministers Conference.
Wow. I mentioned those civil rights icons that you were talking about that you marched with. Did you ever hear of a guy by the name of Reverend Hosea Williams in Atlanta, Georgia?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm friends with his family, and I've had an opportunity to meet his daughters and his son and his granddaughter
right.
In New York. They're very big supporters of the National Action Network, and I'm thankful
right.
For the life and the work and the organizing mm-hmm. of Dr. Hosea Williams.
That's people ask me, where did I get the passion for feeding people that came from Hosea Williams. Every year he fed those. I remember one year he had the largest Feed the Hungry program in the nation. I remember seeing Dan Rather, 5:30 that evening, talking about it, and I marched in Forsyth County with him, and we'll talk about some of that stuff some other time. Tell me this: what made you want to become the president of the best ministers conference in the country? Not just that it's the best, but what made you want to be president of the BMC?
Well, one, I've been a part of the Baptist Ministers Conference for 25 plus years. I've had an opportunity to experience some great leadership from Dr. P.J. Jones to Dr. L. Daniel Williams to Dr. Marvis Davis to President Xavier Thompson to President L.A. Kazee. So I've been working and a part of the conference. And one of my desires is always to make sure that the church is at the forefront. In my activism career, you hear a lot of individuals say, well, where's the churches at? Where's the church? Where's the voices of the church? That's like, hey, do you not see me out here?
Right.
And so when the presidency came about, after I prayed and after I sought God, God instructed me to run. And that's what I did. And I ran against two great legends in our city.
Right.
And the Lord saw fit to allow me to be the president at this time. And it's been just a great honor and the privilege to be a servant of pastors in our city. A lot of pastors don't understand or don't know how to make that first move into really getting out there and being community ambassadors. The first place people go to is the church. And so I understand the importance of the role of the church. And so through that, I'm thankful that I'm the president of the best and greatest conference in this world, the Baptist Ministers Conference
Amen.
Of Los Angeles and Southern California.
Okay, and tell them, when do we meet and how are we meeting right now?
Well, we'll meet, with the pandemic, we've had to all pivot. So we meet every second and fourth Monday of the month on 104th and San Pedro at the Southside Bethel Baptist Church. And the other two meetings, you can catch us on our Zoom. We, again, had the pivot and we had to kind of bridge that great digital divide that we've had. And we got pastors' computers. We got them acclimated to being on Zoom. And so, just to keep each other safe, sometimes we meet on the first and third on Zoom. And so you all can find us at the Baptist Ministers Conference of Los Angeles and Southern California Facebook page. And you can get all the details of our Zoom link.
For someone who doesn't know what the BMC does, what the BMC is about, how would you nutshell it for someone if they ask you, what is the BMC and what's its purpose?
Yeah, well, the Baptist Ministers Conference is an organization that has been here in our city for over 100 years. I mean, the conference is designed literally to help sharpen the irons of pastors throughout the city of Los Angeles, be it helping pastors to glean from each other. It's a fellowship. It's a organization, again, that's really designed to help our local pastors, the Baptist pastors, and any pastors. I mean, we're open to all now in our city to really be engaged and help them to become acclimated in the work of ministry. Ministry means to serve. And so we have pastors all throughout Southern California that come together every Monday. It's literally like sitting down at a master class. You get so many of our living legends that's there that we can glean from, and we can bounce ideas off of each other. We can come together to really organize around issues affecting our communities, laws, policies, whatever it might be. We are a 501c3 organization. And again, we are here to really help pastors sharpen their skills and their tools. Every week, we come together as a group of pastors and leaders. There's no other group in Los Angeles that have the numbers of pastors that we have. And so we are grateful that we're there to be able to pour within. And I've often tell people, Pastor Manning, that, I've been elected to serve you. And so I believe as a leader, that's my responsibility of the Baptist Ministers Conference, is to make sure every pastor is served throughout Southern California.
Right. Now, we just had a citywide revival. I think it was Dr. E. Dewey Smith and H.B. Charles that came to this city. How did that come about? Tell me about that.
Well, we've been trying to plan a big citywide revival, and of course, through the pandemic, it kind of put us all in the virtual world. And as we was coming out the pandemic, we were seeking an opportunity to really put forth a welcome back party. Pastors, churches are open, churches are going forward. We needed a revival in our city.
Right.
Pastors are discouraged. Members were discouraged, from even attending church. Right. And so we had to make sure we come together and really put out that, that desire to really let people know the church is back open and full effect. And God blessed us with the idea, with this vision of a citywide revival. And so our coordinator, Dr. Robinson, asked me, who would you like to preach? Right. And the first two names that popped in my mind, one was Dr. H.B. Charles, right, one of our hometown heroes and that we loved and we watched grow up. Right. And then the other person that came into my mind was Pastor Dr. E. Dewey Smith, one who ministry we love and we appreciate and we celebrate. And, from there forth went the invitations and they accepted. And we had a wonderful spiritual time at the McCoy Memorial, one of our other historic churches, right, in the city on last week. And I want to thank Los Angeles for you all coming out and supporting, because that citywide revival was right what we needed.
Yes. I mean, those messages, I tell you, I don't know whether to start with Charles or E. Dewey Smith. I mean, both of those guys preached, and I am a preacher's preacher, and I felt revived after listening to those messages. So it did exactly what it was supposed to do. And we thank God for Dr. Robinson. We thank God for the host pastor, the legendary Dr. R.A. Williams over at McCoy, for allowing the BMC to have the revival there. What was it? Was it 2 days, 2 nights? It was after.
Yeah, we did. We did a 2-day, 2-night revival. We didn't want to extend it too long. It was right on time, noonday and 7 p.m. at the McCoy Memorial, Dr. R.A. Williams. And the city came together. Yes. And it was good just to be amongst the fellowship of the brethren and our faith community in Los Angeles. You all didn't let me down. I'm so pleased and excited. Again, I've been revived and I'm ready to rock and roll.
And they tell me that you had some political heavyweights there also. Mark Ridley Thomas was there, and what was the lady's name? Sheila? Is it Sheila? What's her name?
Well, we had Senator Holly Mitchell
that
was in presence with us, and board member Tanya Ortiz, and many others that came by and wanted to fellowship with us. Right. Again, when you have a citywide revival, everybody should want to come. This was for everybody, our politicians in every way possible to be a part. And we are so grateful, again, that our community came out and supported the revival. It showed us the importance of fellowship and the importance of the Word of God.
Yes. And I want to get... just before you, on another show, I had attorney Elizabeth Mitchell, and she is the woman behind the driving force behind this big homeless lawsuit that everybody's talking about that has to get all the homeless off the streets. They prevailed with Judge David Carter, and then they ended up settling with the city. She preceded you on the show, so we got to get her over to the BMC and let her talk about how the settlement is going to affect churches and pastors, and how we need to be moving in that direction. But I just think it's a perfect fit to have you as president of the BMC, because, as you were saying earlier, lots of people criticize the church and want to know where are the pastors and where's the church. If they want to know where the BMC is on homelessness, the BMC is there, because when I'm there, the BMC is there. We did a big homeless party. We do them all the time. The last one was at McCoy. Dr. L.A. Kazee, past president of the BMC, was there. And I remember calling you, telling you that I was going to need some help, and you told me that anything I needed, we could get it. It ended up we didn't need any more money, Dr. Tulloss, and so that's why I
Yeah.
didn't ask you for any. I'm the kind of guy I always like to be candid and be real, but I want to put that out there that when I
You
ask
are
you,
that.
you said anything you need, just let me know. What do
Well,
you think? Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I just want to say, Pastor, thank you so much for all that you do in the face of all that we're facing in our city. Homelessness is probably the biggest, houselessness is probably our biggest challenge in the city. I mean, we're seeing it how it's expanded, and most of the individuals I see in the encampment look like me. And I want to thank you, Pastor Manning, for being a staple and for being a forerunner of an advocate for those who are houseless. And this is something that one of the things we've always admired the work of you that you're doing, and really challenging this one of our biggest civil rights issues of affordable housing and housing within our community, and mental health and mental illness,
Right.
things of that matter. So I want to say thank you for all that you do, and I will continue to pledge the Baptist Ministers Conference support, because I believe that the church is part of the solution
Right.
to curing this. I mean, there's so much resources that's being thrown at so many other organizations.
Right.
I mean, the city, the county, we need to partner with every church. It's the
Yes.
reason why it's every church on the corner.
That's right.
We need to partner with every church
That's
and
right.
make sure those who are in need of housing
Right.
receive the housing that's needed. If you want to clean it up, you got to start with the church.
That's right. That's right. And that's what one of the things I'm saying to the movers and shakers is that you have to involve the church. And I plan to have more conversations with you in the future about some creative ways that I think pastors can come together, because I know preachers. I mean, I've been preaching the gospel since I was 8 years old, Pastor Tulloss, and I know how we feel, and I know that most of all of us really care. And if we had the resources to help, we would do so. So a lot of the negative portrayals of us in the media is bogus. You know, they portray us as this, that, and the other. But most of us, because quiet as it's kept, a lot of us are one paycheck away from homelessness ourselves. So if they
No
want to
doubt
solve
about it.
this problem, they're going to have to call on the BMC. They're going to have to call on not the President of the United States of America, but the President of the BMC and the President of Yes We Can Worship Center. And all of us have to get in the kitchen together and come up with a way to carry out St. Matthew chapter 25. I was hungry and you fed me not. I was in prison and you visited me not. So I just want to ask you to be standing by, because I want us to get together, because he and I were talking about it, and do some more in the future to show up and show out and help our brothers and sisters who are sleeping on the streets, because it's getting worse, not better. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we look forward to partnering with you. You have done have brought some amazing programs to our communities that we should celebrate and we should replicate. This should be an everyday type of an event that we have in our community, because this crisis is a very huge crisis.
Yes. Yeah, and the money is out there, Pastor Tulloss. It took me a while, 2 or 3 years. I'm going to have Victor James on. He is the Associate Director of HOPICS, Homeless Outreach Program, Integrated Care System. He knows who you are. I mean, they all know who you are. But we talk about the money is there, that we have enough money in this city and in this country to house anybody they want to house. The only thing we lack sometimes in the community is the willpower to get it done. And that's why I'm thankful for a conference like the BMC. I'm thankful for it because I've seen us do a lot. I remember we stood with our dear sister Maxine Waters when she was being threatened by some of those clowns. I guess I'll use that word. We stood with her and talk about a couple of other things the BMC has done in the community. I think there was something going on with menthol cigarettes when Rev.Al Sharpton came to town through the BMC. Tell me a little bit about.
Yeah, one of the things we have always been on the forefront of is policy. Mm-hmm. And any policy that's put into place that we feel would be harmful to our community, we have stood for. I mean, we have been at the forefront of not only the menthol issue, but I mean, in this mayor's race, I mean, we have been leading voice in protecting our soon-to-be, hopefully, first Black elected mayor, African-American woman mayor, in Karen Bass when she was being attacked by the police Protection League. It was the Baptist Ministers Conference that was leading the protest when the Crenshaw Mall was being sold to individuals that wanted to just come in and just do whatever they wanted with the mall. It's the Baptist Ministers Conference that's still with the civil rights organizations and said, no, we're not going for it. So we have been at the forefront of many of our nation's biggest problems and challenges. And again, when the people ask, where is the church? We say, hey, look, we're here.
Absolutely.
We're right here. We're
Yes.
not just here on Sundays,
Right.
but many of us, we pastor institutions
Right.
that have been in the community longer than many of the residents.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, it's our responsibility, again, to do whatever we can to, as a church, to continue to highlight the work of the ministry, meaning going beyond the walls of the church into the community, allowing individuals to know that the church is that beacon of light for the community.
Mentioning Beacon of Light, see, you went there, so I got to go there. You might not have known it yet, but Yes We Can Worship Center, Pastor Tulloss, you know, we have service every Friday night, and for 5 or 6 years, we've been in a storefront on the corner of Central and Slauson. Beginning August 12th, which is next Friday night, Dr. Tulloss, I'm proud to announce that Yes We Can Worship Center will be moving our service into Beacon Light. Every Friday night, beginning August 12th, my service is going to be on 103rd and Avalon, and in Gangster Stan, Pastor Stanley Richards' church, who's also a member of BMC. And
That's right.
so I want you to join us one Friday night when we make our move. I am very, very excited about going over to Beacon Light Baptist Church. Tell me a little bit about Weller Street Baptist Church, the church that you pastor. Is a historical church. Tell me something about it.
Yeah, so Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church, we're over 78 years of age. We're the last remaining predominantly African-American church in Boyle Heights. A lot of people say, you're in Boyle Heights. There ain't no black folks in Boyle Heights. You're right. It's not.
Okay.
And so when I first got there about 15 years ago, you know, people said, are you going to move to South LA? And I was like, sure, let me look into it. But God saw fit for us to keep our ministry right where it is. And so we're a predominantly a historic church. We just love people. We're a church where everybody is somebody, but God is everything. And Pastor Manning, I tell people all the time, you can out-preach me, you can out-sing me, you can out-shout me, but you can't out-love me. I can love on some God's people. And so we're a church that's really geared towards making sure our church doors are open every single day for our community. Every day, Monday through Sunday, our church doors are open with ministry, and we have so much outreach that's happening every month. We feed over 300 families right there at our church, and every month we go to Skid Row. We go to the ground zero of homelessness, and we feed hot meals, not sandwiches, not peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but we feed hot meals every month from Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church. And I want to thank and praise God for all of our members who, again, is all about serving.
Right. Food for thought, because I know the chairman of my board of directors is a Jewish business lawyer. You've got to meet him, Dr. Tulloss, Attorney John Eisen in Sherman Oaks, California. And I know he's watching right now, and he's listening to you, and he's listening to me, and here's what John is saying, because he says it to me all the time. He always talks about so many cooks in the kitchen, which is a good thing. But if there's so many cooks in the kitchens, nobody should go hungry. What came to mind when you were talking about Weller Street goes to Skid Row, and I know that you do, and there are a lot of churches who go sporadically. We have to figure out a way, and again, you and I will talk about this off air sometimes. We got to figure out a way, Dr. Tulloss, to coordinate. In other words, here's what I've seen, because I'm on Skid Row every day of the week, as you know. There have been times I have fed in front of the Midnight Mission at 11 o'clock, and 35 minutes later, some other church van will pull up and feed in the same spot that I just got through feeding in. And then an hour, so I am not in any way, I'm not a hater, I'm a congratulator, saying they shouldn't come. I'm simply saying, would it be nice if all of us coordinated to say, Weller is going to be there Monday, Yes We Can will be there Tuesday, so McCoy can be there Wednesday, and another church could be there. It would be nice if we could get together and figure out a way to, you follow me? What do you think about that? That came from John.
I agree. For 14 years, Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church, we've been on 7th and Crawford on the third Saturday from 9 a.m. till the food run out.
Right.
And so again, we've been doing this for 14 years. I've been there 15 years. We've been on Skid Row for 14 years.
Wow.
And one of the things I believe we all see, we see the need.
Yes.
There's a need for the love of the church
Yes.
in Skid Row.
Yes.
There's a need for individuals that just need socks.
Yes.
There's a need for individuals that just need a bottle of water. I've seen individuals just ask for a bottle of water just to wash their feet. So there is a need, and I want to say thank you to you, Pastor Manning. I mean, I know you're there every day. I'm there once a month, but I pass by every day.
But I don't say that to diminish, because you're there once a month. I know some churches who ain't been there in 5 years. So I thank God that but what I need from you for the homeless in this city, because I know you're the guy who either you would know how to coordinate it, or let's get together and figure out who can coordinate. Let's figure out a way to get the churches that consistently go there, whether it's once a month or once every quarter, to figure out a way to coordinate so that you'll know when I'm going, I'll know when you're going, and we can work together in that way. Nobody needs to hijack someone else's program. Nobody's trying to take charge of someone else's program. But if we have some kind of umbrella, so that I know that you're feeding on Friday and someone else can feed on Saturday, so forth and so on, I think we ought to get together and talk about that. What do you think?
And Pastor Man, I think that's something that we should do. And also, I believe we need to develop a strategic plan to help, in this homeless pandemic that we're facing in our community. And I believe that we have enough resources within the church, within the city, to really make a dent or really push progress. I mean, we have voted through the period of years for billions and billions of dollars to be pushed towards homelessness, and it seems like it's only getting worse. So I believe the key ingredient is for them to insert the churches within this. And so we have so many churches in our community that's ready to serve. They're just looking for leadership to help be a part of a program to help get out the service. We're looking for the resources to help get out the service.
That's right.
So we're ready.
When I called Dr. J. Benjamin Hartwick and asked him to help with the homeless party, he was there. When I called Dr. R.A. Williams of McCoy, he was there. I can truly say to you, Pastor Tulloss, regardless of what rumor and speculation might say, I have never called a pastor and asked him or her to help me do anything with the homeless in this city who said no to me. There are guys who don't get out there every day because it's really not their calling. But you don't have to be there in the flesh. You can be there through your money. You can be there through your donation. I'm mentioning Karen Bass. I met her recently on a Zoom. She was at SOHA, Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association, and she and I went back and forth. We had a very good conversation, talk with her. I also met Rick Caruso at SOHA. He came on the next week or what have you. And I strongly believe, these are good candidates, but I really believe that if Karen Bass gets in there and becomes mayor of this city, that she will be willing to listen to input from the clergy. And for whoever wins, I hope it's Karen, but for whoever wins, if they want to solve this homeless problem in this city, one of the things they need to do, they need to call Dr. Tulloss. They need to get with a crazy guy by the name of Manning, who no matter what I do, I know how to house those homeless people, and I know how to feed them, and I know how to relate to them. And they need to get with us, and as you said, insert the church. And let's don't talk about it. Let's be about it. I know you're in contact with a lot of politicians. I hope that you would encourage Ms. Bass, Dr. Tulloss, that she needs to talk to pastors about homelessness, which is the #1 issue in this city right now.
I agree, and I've known Congresswoman Bass for over 20 plus years, and I've watched her work, and that's why I'm supporting Congresswoman Bass, is because I believe, again, she will work. She's not just about talk. I know that we have the 2028 Olympics that's coming, and they want to do whatever they can to just paint over the pig, paint over the problems that we're having. But Congresswoman Bass will actually get in there and work. It's not about the resources. We've had the resources, and this billionaire, he has resources. He has not done anything over the period of the time he's been rich. But I've watched Congresswoman Bass work on behalf of the people, and homelessness is the #1 problem here in Los Angeles, California. And I know with Congresswoman Bass, we will have an advocate, not only advocate, but advocate for churches. She is a member of a Baptist church. we're thankful for Congresswoman Bass.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, I'm almost out of time. Yeah, I support her. I applaud her. And as I said, Rick was nice, but the facts are as they are, and he has $4 or $5 billion. And as you said, he didn't just get rich yesterday. And one of the questions I ask him is, how many people have you, through your billions, housed in the last 2 or 3 years? And I think you know what the answer to that question is. That doesn't mean he doesn't mean well. That doesn't mean he couldn't do well. But if anybody wants to know, I believe that Karen Bass will make a great mayor in this city, and I believe she'll take this homelessness problem very, very seriously. My guest before was talking about some of the politicians who talk a good game, but they don't walk what they talk. Karen Bass is not one of those kind of people. Listen, Pastor Tulloss, I got to get you back on again, man. It's been exciting. I mean, I've enjoyed this conversation, and I hope it leads to further collaboration. Anything you want to say before you go?
Now, Pastor Manning, you sound well, you look well, you sound strong, man. You're right, and you're fitting right in the Moore studio. And I want to say thank you for all that you do. Continue to strive, continue to be that advocate that people need. And I want you to know the Baptist Ministers Conference stands with you in our fight to really decrease the homeless problem we're seeing here in Los Angeles.
Pastor Tulloss, thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Pastor K.W.Tulloss, the president of the Baptist Ministers Conference. I want you to know that you can make a difference in your neighborhood. We can do it together. Yes, we can.
I know that we can.